On today's episode of Down the Rabbit Hole We Go, we are going to be exploring if there is an energetic connection between getting tired or having low energy as we get older, gritting our teeth, did a little video about that, and the middle age paunch, right? The weight we put on in front. So I'm Dr. Kate Flynn. I guide people out of mental madness and into bodily knowing. I am so glad you're here. Let's go ahead and get started. So my mother is an amazing woman and she is in her 80s. Within the last year and a half, my dad passed away and she had a couple eye surgeries. The first one didn't take, so she had to go through it again. And she's been telling me how tired she feels and how much more challenging it is to recover now that she is in her 80s. And that got me kind of contemplating, thinking, I do like to mentally connect dots and have understanding as to what's going on. Couple that with about the same time, I start seeing these videos pop up from my generation. I guess I'm old enough to say my generation did this. And they're all about how we used to, and it's true, I used to do it. We used to go out to the club. We would get home in time to take a shower and maybe a 15-minute nap. And then I would be right back in my military uniform, ready to stand watch at 6 a.m. That is what the men and women of your armed services do sometimes. And maybe you did that too. And it was kind of like a gloating thing, like we did that, we went right back to work and we didn't need to recover. And it's like, well, maybe that's not true. Maybe we did need to recover. We just could get by. We could survive without giving our bodies time to recover. So once I saw that, that connected me to, I had a decades-long experience of insomnia from as young as I can remember till about my mid-30s. I just didn't sleep. And then I tried the supplements and all the lifestyle changes and nothing had an effect. The thing that solved the insomnia, though, that'll be the topic for another video. So if you have insomnia, stay tuned for that. So I know I'm combining a lot of things here, but all of those things were on my radar and I'm considering them and I'm like, what is the deal? And what I came up with, this is my theory. Feel free to come along with me if you have comments or reflections or that doesn't sound true, let me know in the comments, is that we go through these things, right? Adolescence, that's probably puberty when kind of, unless we have a challenging home life before then, that's when we start to question who we are and we start to hear other people's opinions and what they think about who we are, and that challenges us, right? And then we have high school and we have college and careers and we build families and we take care of sick loved ones and we lose people along the way, whether that's, divorce or death, sickness. We move away, we do all of these things and we don't really allow ourselves any time to process or integrate what we've been through, what we've witnessed, what we've experienced, to just kind of take a deep breath and be like, oh, that was a lot. Have I integrated this experience into the fabric of who I am? Or is it just something that has kind of, yeah, that happened. I went through that. And so it's typically retirement or maybe even later before we have any opportunity or space to be with and sit with the things that we have seen, done, and experienced in our life. And even then, it's all up to us how we navigate what we do with our time. If we're always filling that time with, whether it's watching TV or drinking or eating food or, using weed or whatever it is, that seems to be the go-to, whether we are celebrating something wonderful that happened, because that takes time to integrate too. You do a big project, you get married, you have career success, whatever it is. All of these things kind of require this, wow, this happened, and kind of like a coming within to process and integrate that. It's kind of interesting how our coping strategies are kind of the same for whether it's a stressful, not fun experience or if it was a great experience, overindulging in food and alcohol. Those things just kind of seem to be ingrained in our culture. So then you do your thing, you put in your time, you get to retirement, your kids are raised, maybe you have grandbabies, but you find yourself with all this time on your hands, unless you are like my mom and you're put in this position of caretaker, or you're raising your grandkids or something like that, and then you still don't have the time or space. And so all of that lack of recovery time from the moment we're born until the moment we have nothing else demanding our time comes with a cost, right? And it's not that it didn't cost anything when I was out until, 6 a.m. partying and then going to work. It's just that I delayed it, right? I put it on a delayed payment program. And if I go my whole life until I am retirement age, 65, 75, 80, whatever it is, and I don't give myself the opportunity to process and reflect on that, then I'm going to pay later when I should be, or when I would like to think that I could be playing for all of those things, right? So you might have this idea, oh, I should have more energy. I should be able to do this. I should recover the same. And, it might get in your head that, well, you're just older now. But if you can kind of make these connections and consider that maybe it's not just because I'm older, maybe it's because I've seen some shit, been through some shit, and you give yourself opportunity to move through it, I just feel like it can make a big difference in how you experience your golden years. Now, if you're watching this and you are 65, 75, 85, and you're like, I feel great, and I never did any of that, then I want to hear about it, right? I'm open to my theory being disproven. That's why I'm putting it out here. So how does that tie in with the middle-age paunch and the gritting of your teeth? And I really feel like the common denominator there, like the energetic metaphor or background that ties all those three things together, is how we are digesting life, how we break life down, right? We see what's happening, we kind of chew on it, we chew it up, and sometimes we keep chewing on it. That's what I do. That's the deal with why I was gritting my teeth, which has gotten so much better, by the way, since I did that last session that I shared with you. So maybe you don't grit your teeth. Maybe you swallow life whole and you don't chew on it. And maybe that is what gets stuck in the middle-age paunch. Like you're not digesting it from a visceral level, an internalized level. Like it's made its way in, and now it's in such a big piece and such a big chunk that you can't break it down into little pieces. I do know some people, though, that have been through some pretty significant traumas, and that, that paunch is present. So you let me know, is that worth considering, reflecting? Do you want to take it in and digest it and break it down? So how do you move forward from there if that is what has happened? Well, giving yourself time to feel whatever feelings are present on a daily basis would be great. And it doesn't have to be like a long time. You don't have to relive these experiences. You don't have to talk about them. Now, if you've never talked about them, you might want to do that, right? But you don't have to keep talking about the same things, because that just kind of makes it dig in and get deeper, more deeply imprinted in your DNA. But a few minutes before bed, you say, okay, body, is there anything for me to process at this time, to process and integrate? And if emotions, if awarenesses, visions come up, then just sit with it and just watch it. Let it be. Don't try to change it. Don't try to make it any different than what it was. Just notice and set your intention to process. It's one thing I always do in my sessions, my one-on-one sessions with people, is give you an idea of how long it's going to take you to process what you did in that session, and what you can do, like follow up, to support your body, to amplify the desired effects of releasing things like more energy, feeling good, feeling happy, feeling joyful, but then also to mitigate those not so pleasant things like feeling tired, having, a lower immune response, or maybe having a headache or being grumpy. And if we do that, if we kind of check in on a daily basis, then we don't create that deficit to where when we do have the opportunity to be enjoying our lives, that we're dealing with being so tired, or that our body's breaking down. You know, maybe we need new teeth, or we've developed this middle section that we're going to chalk up, is that how you say that? To, you know, diet or exercise, or oh, my hormones are all askew, or, you know, all of these mental things that your mind will convince you is the issues. So that's my theory. All of these things have a cost, and when we don't recover, we don't integrate, we're gonna just have to pay later. So let me know in the comments what you think, and if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, and follow.